If you're currently looking for a TV for President's Day and you just don't want to wait for the brand new 2021 TVs to drop in price, today I've got your back with the top 5 best TVs to buy right now for President's Day 2021. These are currently available at Best Buy, so that's what I'm going off of. If you find them elsewhere, kudos there. But this is how I'm going to be going about my list here. Okay, so smack a like on this video. I'm just going to dive right in and get to the point. We're going to talk about the number 1 pick on this list, which is the Vizio OLED H1. It starts at $999, and that's for the 55-inch. Of course, you pay more as you go up the size factor with all these TVs, but I'm just doing the entry pricing for now. Okay, so for $999, you're getting the most vibrant OLED on the market. I literally looked at it when I first turned it on, thought it was a QLED. It was so vibrant. Everything you watch when it's HDR upscales to HDR10+. I thought that was really freaking cool. Like, what even is that? Literally no manufacturer does that for you except for Vizio. So that's like a major bonus. HDR content actually sees some life breathed back into it, and it's really nice. And then you've got some 24p motion that's smooth and fluid, even though you don't necessarily have an option to directly control it. So it's definitely got its redeeming factors. Where it's a bit of a deal breaker, though, is even though it has responsive game motion, or rather input lag for gaming, it does have a problem where it locks out settings in game mode, so you have to keep an eye out on that. And it also does have some quirks and glitches, like screens that randomly drop out, and you'll have really jittery motion, so it's not ideal for sports. But all in all, I still think, even with those flaws, for this price point, it is pretty good. It does a good job. It's a beautiful TV that has a lot to offer, and who knows, maybe you won't have as many glitches as I encountered. Now, that being said, it also does have picture presets that allows you to go in and make as many custom presets as you want. So the idea here is you build off of the template presets like standard or cinema they give you at default, and then you can rename it and make it whatever you want and change the values around and then save it as a separate preset alongside those. So if you ever wanted to create a Switch preset or an Xbox Series X or PS5 preset, but then have an independent movie setting in the standard mode or cinema mode, you could do that. I mean, this is game-changing stuff. Literally no one in the industry has done this, and I think it's fantastic. I mean, really, really fantastic stuff. So definitely my number 1 pick for those reasons. Next on the list is going to be the LG OLED B10. Comparing it to my Sony A8G, it really was so close to the A8G in performance and color that I could not omit this from the list. I have to add this because it's just such a good performer, right? I mean, when you're talking about the color performance that's better than the more expensive C10, you're talking about motion performance that's better than the C10 and the Sony, and many areas you're talking about it's just performing really, really well. Now, it doesn't have as much depth as a Sony OLED, but ultimately speaking, it's performing exceptionally well. Now, that being said, had a Sony OLED been on sale, I probably would have put a Sony OLED above this one. But honestly speaking, since there are no Sonys currently on sale, it kind of gets by, right? But either way, I still think it's fantastic with the G-Sync and FreeSync capabilities being offered to gamers. But just keep in mind, unlike the Vizio OLED, this is not the full 48 gigabits per second. So if you're buying HDMI 2.1 for future proofing, this will not be able to grow with time. So just keep that in mind. It is a little bit limited in that regard. But either way, I think for $12.99, it's a fair value, and it's honestly the best you're going to buy when looking at an LG OLED. Next on the list is going to be the Sony X900H. Coming in at $949 for a 55-inch, you really can't do better when talking about a Sony X900H. You've got the same HDMI 2.1, you've got 120 hertz, you know, they're talking about VRR whenever that happens. I mean, either way, it still has beautiful color. And with the 4K processor, X1 4K HDR processor, they have all these weird names, right? But either way, your upscaling chip with the X1 is just incredible. Like, you have good over-the-air, good Blu-ray upscaling. I mean, it's just a joy to look at. It's a nice TV, a very solid TV. A little bit dated processor for sure, and you definitely got downgraded from the Sony X900F that used to have the X1 Extreme processor, where now this just has an X1. So there are some gripes I could easily go on and on about, but my point is this. For $949 in 2020, at least as far as a 2020 TV goes. You really won't find better. If you can find a 900F or a 900 or a 950G, I would say those models would be better if you could find them cheaper than this. But so far for this price, I think Sony's doing good. Direct access to all of your color spaces like the DCI-P3, BT 2020, and you could force it manually. You can go in and adjust so many aspects of picture quality that honestly just make this TV worth the price point. And the colors are satisfying and pleasing. So for that, I definitely give it the third spot on this list. Now, fourth on this list is the LG C10. The LG C10 is not my favorite TV, and I really honestly don't have the best regard as far as a love relationship for it. You're going to hear everywhere that this is the best TV that has ever existed. I have tried this TV in every which angle humanly possible, and I have not seen that yet. I will say, though, that the performance can be quite good when being creative with settings and, doing a lot of extra work with calibration and tuning. So if you like that kind of thing and you like really tinkering with a TV, then you can get better performance out of the C10. What I will say, though, is the C10 still does offer an exceptional value because the speakers inside the TV are nice. You've got the OLED black levels. You've still got the quality. And at $1349, you are getting a mid-range OLED experience. And that's still worth its weight in gold, I would say, at this point in time in 2021, because really there isn't anything quite like that on the market right now for that price point, giving you that kind of value. I can't seriously sit here and tell you that for $1349.99, the LG C10 is literally just offering no kind of proposition value to anyone. So I think it's definitely worth a look at if you're interested in LG OLED and you really, for whatever reason, don't want to give the B10 a try. I will say, though, the B10 far outranks it in terms of color performance, and it is alone that one factor that you should definitely check out the B10 over. Yes, the C10 is brighter, but the B10 holds color at brightness levels a lot easier, so it kind of negates that. It's a weird little thing here. It's very scientific, but at the end of the day, the C10 does get a spot on the list because right now at Best Buy, it is one of the better deals you can find. Now, this one is not necessarily a deal per se, but I'm still including it because if you're looking around for President's Day, you're going to want options, right? And so far, every option I've listed has been basically anywhere from $900 to over $1,000. But what if you don't have that kind of money? No worries. The TCL 5 series is probably going to be your next best choice because it's under $500. It starts at $429 with the 55-inch being $479. So really, it's an affordable television, and I think that's fantastic. Similarly, you can also, as a bonus, look at the TCL R635. You can look at the Hisense H9G. These are excellent alternatives. The Hisense H8G. These are all awesome alternatives, and they are all QLED options. Don't buy anything, and hear me on this, guys, please. Don't buy anything that's not quantum dots or a QLED, right, in 2021. I know Samsung has their TU series. Don't buy that trash. They're literally just marketing overpriced edgelit technology. It's not worth it. Honestly, you can do way better with mini LEDs with TCL with a lot less, money to go behind it. You don't really have to spend as much, is my point. So I really hope this kind of helps you guys out. A little note here about the TCL 5 series. It's not the most premium TV, but it's also not the most budget end. You will have motion problems, but you will also have the quantum dot color advantage. No HDMI 2.1 like every TV before this one. But again, and when I say every TV, I just mean the ones on this list. But again, it's still an awesome value, and if you want that next generation kind of like wide color gamut coverage, then this is going to be one of your better options out there for under $500. So I really hope I've helped you guys out, and if I provided value in your life today, smack a like on this video, subscribe, and join the journey. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.